For 300 years, Earth had been silent. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council, where over 200 species met under glowing banners of peace and unity, Earth's absence had long been forgotten. Humans were a footnote in galactic history, strange. Emotional creatures who once rose quickly, burned bright, and then disappeared. The Unity Summit was in full motion. Alien leaders argued, negotiated, laughed, and schemed as usual. The war against the Zaran Reavers had just ended. New trade routes were opening. Peace seemed near. Earth? That old myth? A scaled diplomat from the Bravari laughed. They probably destroyed themselves with their own weapons. Good riddance, said a tall, Avori ambassador. Humans were always too chaotic. No one disagreed. But then, the room went silent. Every hollow panel, every comlink, every screen across the chamber flickered. A pulse, deep and slow. Not loud but undeniable. It seemed to vibrate through the bones of every living being in the chamber. Then came the signal. Ancient, faint, human. The source was unmistakable. Soul system. Earth. Council technicians scrambled. Some tried to block the signal. Others ran diagnostics, but the message was already clear. Status. Condition black. Initiate protocol revenant. The council chamber froze. Many had never heard of such a phrase. But the older races, the ones who had fought beside or against humanity in the past, went pale. High Marshal Jovic of the Volari stood slowly, his 3 eyes wide. That code, it's not just military. It's a final protocol. Final protocol? Someone asked, confused. Drovic's voice shook. It means Earth is no longer defending itself. It's unleashing something buried. Something they swore would never be used again? Whispers spread like wildfire. Impossible. They were extinct. No one survives 300 years of silence. But one thing was undeniable. The signal was real. Old human code, encrypted with military sequences lost to time. The galaxy hadn't heard anything from Earth in 3 centuries. And now they didn't ask for help. They gave a warning. Ambassador Scheneler of the Gorthic Alliance stepped back. From the table, this isn't a call for aid. It's a threat. Protocol Revenant was only theorized. Even humans were afraid of it. They've awakened something. Drovic muttered. In orbit over a forgotten moon near the Soul border, an ancient satellite stirred. Rusted and half buried in gray dust, it powered on for the first time in centuries. Its single eye glowed crimson. From deep beneath the moon's surface, something moved. Mechanical arms unfolded. Massive gears turned in the dark. And a voice, human but synthetic, echoed into the silence. Revenant sequence initiated. Earth acknowledges your betrayal. The signal from Earth's system protocol. Revenant echoed like a ghost across the galaxy. Ships stopped mid-flight. Diplomats froze mid-sentence. High councils that had ignored Earth for centuries suddenly gathered behind locked doors, their faces pale and their words rushed. Everyone had the same question. What did Earth just wake up? On the edge of the Korthan Empire, Admiral Jelvux of the Black Sun Fleet stared at the pulsing message on his warship's holoscreen. The human code was ancient, yes, but it was clear. Status, condition black. He'd seen it before. It was the same message Earth sent seconds before the fall of the Vorik swarm. Back when the humans still fought beside other species. When Earth still had fleets, cold, silent, fast fleets that never came back from battle, but always left victory behind. He turned to his hind. Communication officer, find me everything you can on Earth's last known fleet movements. Now. Meanwhile, on the planet Virelia Prime, inside the academic towers of the Galactic Historical Archives, Professor Dimar, an elder Marnock historian, pulled out an old datapad. She hadn't touched it in 200 years. It buzzed. The human encryption still worked. She whispered to herself, barely able to believe it. They didn't die. They went dark on purpose. Behind her, young students gathered, staring as the glowing text repeated again and again. Protocol Revenant active. Emperor turned to them slowly. Class is over. Warn your governments. They'll want to remember how this galaxy looked before humans got serious. Back at the Unity Summit, panic broke through the polished speeches. Species that once fought against humanity rushed to leave. Species that once helped humanity began calling their old files, reactivating spy networks that hadn't been used in. Generations.1 ambassador, a Qatari named Solvesh, stood in the center of the chaos. She had lost her grandfather in the Battle of Orion Rift fighting alongside the humans. She remembered his stories of how the humans never gave up, never surrendered, and how they did things the rest of the galaxy feared. She looked out the window toward the dark space where Sol System lay. They're not calling for help, she said to no one. They're giving us a chance to leave before something wakes up. Far away, in a dust-covered observation post, buried deep on Titan's icy moon, ancient machinery hummed to life that the old AI interface blinked. Signal confirmed. Uplink re-established. Massive. Cryo chambers hissed. Ice cracked. One by one, tall, armored humanoid shapes lit up with soft blue lights. They were soldiers' forgotten ones. The room shook as one pod opened. Inside, a figure slowly sat up. Male. Muscular. Face scarred by centuries of battle. His eyes opened. Glowing faint red. The interface greeted him. Welcome back, Commander. Earth has re-entered strategic protocol. Orders pending. Back in the galactic core, more signals followed. Ships that had disappeared long ago now showed on Old Human, tracking satellites, ghost fleets emerging from deep space black zones. No transmissions, no alliances. Just movement. Cold, silent. Movement. The Council tried to act. Emergency meetings were called. War protocols were discussed. Peace envoys were suggested. But the fear was already spreading, because everyone knew Earth never sent warnings before a war. They only sent one when it was already too late to stop it. Last seen. A mining ship in the outer rim stumbles upon something. Strange. A dead planet, gray, lifeless, yet a strange energy signature pulses beneath the crust. They dig. They find metal. But not alien.human. The mining foreman wipes the dust from an old plaque that it reads, Project Revenant, do not wake. As the ground shakes, he drops the scanner and runs. From deep beneath the rock, something massive begins to rise. Something with a human flag scorched into its side. The Council's war archives were sealed. Only high command species had access. But tonight, a dozen restricted terminals flickered open across starships, military bases, and embassies. Each one displayed the same line of code, status, condition. Black Protocol Revenant active. The words glowed in blood-red letters. No encryption, no explanation. Just a name of protocol humans never shared, because they promised it was never to be used. Inside the archives, the memories of war came alive again. On the station orbiting Atrexis 5, General Vorik of the Vosker Empire growled as he stared at the human file. 300 years ago, Earth had sent fleets into the War of Screaming Suns. They were smaller, fewer, but deadlier than any imagined. Vorik remembered them. Cold soldiers in black armor. Ships that never broadcast their positions. Soldiers that didn't sleep. Some said they didn't even bleed. The Vosker had lost 5 systems before they begged the humans for help instead of fighting them. And now, humans were back? His second-in-command stuttered. Should we prepare the fleet, sir? Vorik didn't answer. He turned to the display. The human message had changed. Contact attempts will be treated as hostile interference. Do not approach. Sol, the Vosker general's jaw tightened. He had seen this before, right before the siege of Veridex. The humans had said the same thing then. And one by one, every ship that ignored them disappeared. No bodies, no wreckage, no signals. Just silence. Across the stars, panic rippled through governments. In the Maritime Union, old senators screamed at their science ministers. Earth was a backwater. Their cities are dust. Their sun should be dying. But the sun wasn't dying. New scans showed activity, massive energy readings deep under Earth's crust. Structures moving beneath the oceans. Artificial satellites blinking to life across the solar system. And then came the second signal. It pulsed once every 7 seconds. Not a message. A heartbeat. On the outskirts of the Sol system, a Kryn salvager ship named Driftlight floated near the shattered remains of a battle moon. Captain Rel didn't believe in ghosts, but even he admitted something felt wrong. He had heard the stories of humans, that they didn't die normally, that some of them stayed behind in machines. Any sign of the signal source? He asked. His scanner technician looked pale. Sir, it's coming from beneath Mars' surface. Something just powered on. Massive heat spike. And she paused. And what? The old AI tag matches something in the ancient war database. The code name is Gravedigger. Rel's hands turned to ice. Gravedigger was a human orbital AI system, one of the last defense constructs created before their disappearance. The legends said it was capable of wiping out entire fleets if Earth was ever attacked directly. But no one ever proved it existed. Rel whispered. Now it had just powered on. Back at the Unity Summit, the Council's main chamber was in chaos. Delegates screamed. Factions pointed fingers. Some demanded a task force be sent to Earth immediately. Others begged for silence. And at the center of it all, Councillor Yedrin of the Arvik Dominion stood slowly and spoke one word into the silence. Revenant. All the noise stopped. He continued, voice shaking. During the last war, the humans gave us a warning. They said if they ever disappeared, if they were ever silenced, And we later detected this protocol. It meant only one thing. Councillor Frillix leaned forward. What thing? Yedrin closed his eyes. That Earth had been violated, and the Revenant system would return to punish everyone, not just the attackers. All of us, the entire Council. A whisper rolled through the room. They weren't silent, Yedrin said. They were waiting, watching, preparing. And now, someone muttered, they've woken up. Far beneath Earth's crust, inside an old vault buried beneath ice and steel, a humanoid figure slowly opened its eyes. Not flesh. Metal. Its face bore the emblem of the old Terran defense fleet. It stepped forward as the lights around it hummed to life. From the shadows, others emerged, silent, armored, patient. Old war machines, human designs. And then, a voice, mechanical, ancient, yet terrifyingly calm, spoke across all old Terran frequencies. Revenant command activated. Phase 1 initiated. All protocol breaches logged. Target identification in progress. Across the galaxy, sensors flared. Targets? Who were the targets? And more importantly, who wasn't? The Galactic Council scrambled. After the Sol signal hit every known channel, chaos followed. Not war, not invasion, not fear. Because everyone who knew humans knew one truth. Earth never sent warnings. Not unless it was already too late. Inside the Andrali's archive on Veltor Prime, ancient, war records were unlocked for the first time in 3 centuries. The files were sealed after Earth disappeared. Now they blinked red. Access granted. Protocol Revenant. Human Council Contact Classification Plaque. The Veltor archivist, a 6-eyed historian named Lacron, stared at the files. They promised. This would never open, he whispered. Across the galaxy, other ancient vaults began unlocking old commanders. Retired admirals. Veterans of the human wars. They all received the same code fragment. Initiate contingency theta. Assume. Earth has returned. Do not resist. Those who once fought alongside humans fell silent. Those who fought against them began evacuating. On the moon Europa, Jupiter's orbite, mining crew from the Thalaxian Combine had been drilling into ancient crust for months. They believed the planet was abandoned. They were wrong. One of the drills struck a massive door black, cold and clearly artificial. Strange markings glowed faintly. Not alien. Not human. Before the miners could call for help, the door opened on its own. A voice echoed through every ship within range. This facility is now under Protocol Revenant. You are unauthorized. Leave or be reclassified as hostile. The Thalaxians ran. They didn't even argue. They knew that tone. No other species spoke. Like that calm, direct, cold human military AI. And when the door fully opened, something crawled out. Not a soldier. Not a machine. A drone built in Earth's final war days. It moved like it never stopped working. Sleek. Black. Eyes glowing. Red. And it whispered one thing in the old Earth tongue. Searching. Confirming threat. Weapons online. Meanwhile, on Council homeworld, Trosari Prime Counselor Varen paced her chambers. She had once voted to isolate Earth. She'd believed them weak. That they couldn't adapt to galactic politics. She called them emotional primates. But now her hands shook. Her personal assistant displayed the latest update. Sol system. 43 dormant satellites reactivated. Signal patterns suggest global network reboot in progress. Blackwatch station presumed destroyed in 2783. Now detected orbiting Pluto. Unknown vessel signature emerging from Saturn's shadow. Stealth capable, not responding to. Council hails. Varen whispered to herself. What have we done? She reached for her comb. Summoned the War Council. Now, and tell them. Earth is moving again. End scene. Inside the dark ocean of Neptune's moon, Triton. Lights flicker. A long-forgotten structure powers up. Its walls are lined with human symbols. Project Revenant, humanity's last line. Inside, stasis pods hiss open, and something stirs. A human soldier alive, eyes open after 300 years. Command received. Soul signal confirmed. Time to wake them all. The Galactic Council declared Protocol Revenant a false signal. Their official message. A glitch, nothing more. But even as they spoke those words, they tightened security across every major system. Yet fear crept deeper, they admitted. Because the last time Earth used that code, entire war fleets vanished. And Earth was still human back then. Not. Whatever they'd become now. Aboard the Coalition Dreadnought Arcus Prime, near the edge of the Sol system. Captain Yulori, a veteran of the Sarkin Wars, watched the screen with narrowed eyes. His crew whispered among themselves. Scanners showed impossible readings. A signal, not just a military beacon, but a quantum burst that echoed backward through time, activating long-dead satellites and buried hardware on a dozen moons. We're not picking up a fleet, his officer whispered. But something's waking up, something old. Captain Yulori turned slowly. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We are not staying here, but we've seen no threats. Lori didn't blink. Exactly. That's the threat. Meanwhile, on the desert moon of Deimos-9, the mining colony there had long been abandoned. But deep below the sand, inside an ancient black metal vault marked with faded Earth flags, a machine stirred. A human warframe, 12 meters tall, rusted but still functional. Its HUD linked to life. Not AI, but something worse than enhanced brain core. A living human soldier, sealed inside since the last galactic war. The being spoke only one word. Confirmed. Protocol Revenant active. Objective, restoration. With a scream of thrusters, the warframe erupted from the moon's surface, leaving dust and panic in its wake. Council headquarters. Galactic core panic turned into chaos. A secret message passed through encrypted channels, one meant only for those who had once allied with Earth. To all former Terran Pact members, you were warned. Protocol Revenant is not a bluff. Your silence will be remembered. You have one cycle to respond. Some chose to destroy the message. Others began to flee. The Drenari Empire, once a proud superpower, locked down its borders. If the humans are back, their leader whispered, then this is no longer our galaxy. On Earth, or what was left of it, not much remained on the surface. Cities had crumbled, oceans had dried in places. But beneath the crust below miles of reinforced alloy and shielding, an entire civilization waited. Earth hadn't died. Earth had gone dark on purpose. A defense AI spoke to the chamber. Welcome back, Commander Ulrich. Protocol Revenant is active. We await your orders. The man stepped forward, tall, lean, eyes glowing faintly blue. He wasn't fully human anymore, and he wasn't alone. Behind him, thousands stood ready. Not soldiers. Revenants. Not the kind of humans the galaxy once begged for help. And later, betrayed. Ulrich raised his hand. Begin Phase 2. End of Part 5. Hook. Across the stars, entire fleets vanish. Black ships, human ships appear silently, blocking trade routes and cutting off communication relays. They don't fire. They don't speak. They only watch. The galaxy panics. Because Earth hasn't declared war. They've declared judgment. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so quiet. Every representative, every admiral, every commander sat, frozen, watching the screen. The Sol system, long dead, long forgotten, was now pulsing with impossible energy. Revenant protocol fully active, said the Zarn intelligence analyst. Her voice trembled. Unknown structures rising across Mars, Europa, even Pluto. Weapons platforms, factories, defense nets. All automated, all human. Above Earth's orbit, a massive object broke through the clouds. Not a ship, a fortress. Its name flashed across every data channel in the galaxy. HSF Oblivion. A ship last recorded during the Krell Wars. A dreadnought so advanced the Council once believed it was myth. It had no crew. It had no mercy. It ran on a single rule: defend humanity. At any cost. Activate planetary shields, barked Admiral Threx of the Ogren Armada. Evacuate colonies near Sol, now. But it was too late. The humans weren't just waking up. They were moving. Ships, black as the void, began to rise from moons and asteroid fields. Not built recently, these were hidden, waiting, buried for. Centuries like sleeping wolves. And now they had smelled blood. Meanwhile, in deep space, the Alari fleet tasked with keeping an eye on Sol for 200 years was gone. Not destroyed. Erased. One moment, they were monitoring strange gravitational waves near Jupiter's orbit. The next, their signals vanished. No wreckage, no escape pods, just silence. Back at the Council, chaos reigned. The representative of the Valex Empire stood up. We must talk to them. Apologize. Offer peace? Peace? Hissed a former human. Ally, the ragged commander of the Velari Guard. You don't understand. This isn't war. This is their response to betrayal. The galaxy left Earth to rot. Now, Earth doesn't care who survives. A new transmission began broadcasting across all frequencies, every planet, every language. To those who abandoned us, your silence has been noted, your crimes recorded. We are no longer seeking justice. We are here for balance. Then came the signature. 2 words, Human Defense Net. The network that once protected Earth, now reawakened, fully autonomous, and completely unforgiving. Earth. A single figure stood in a bunker deep beneath the surface. General Mara Thorne. She had gone into cryostasis 300 years ago. She was Earth's final commander, and now she was awake. Status? She asked. The AI beside her responded, Orbital grid 87% operational. Sleeper fleets are online. Protocol Revenant is successful. Mara looked up. Then it's time. Begin Phase 2. Let the galaxy remember why they feared us. As the first human-crewed ships launched from secret hangars, the stars themselves seemed to dim. Final scene. On a council world 12 light-years away, a little alien boy stared at the sky. He tugged his mother's sleeve. Mama, what's that red light in the sky? His mother turned. The red glow was growing. Shape, moving faster than light itself. She didn't answer. She couldn't, because she, like everyone else, finally understood Earth hadn't vanished. It had been watching. And now, it was coming back.